I still remember the night it happened. It was a night like any other in Oloru, a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and vast savannah. The full moon bathed the earth in silver light, and the cicadas sang their endless song. But by dawn, nothing would ever be the same again. My name is Adoma. I am the daughter of Mama Efua, one of the most respected women in our village. In Oloru, the women are the heartbeat of the land. We plant the yams, weave the baskets, tend to the children, and we guard the cattle. Our herd is not just our wealth, it is our pride. The cattle provide milk for our children, dowries for our daughters, and offerings to the spirits of our ancestors. Every woman in our family has taken a turn watching over them, from my great grandmother down to my little sister, Naki. That evening, I was sitting by the fire with my mother and the other women, weaving mats and telling stories. The younger girls braided each other's hair, laughing and whispering secrets. Across the compound, old Nana Abeni, the village herbalist, sat grinding herbs with her wrinkled hands. She was always muttering things, half warnings, half riddles. Dark clouds move unseen, she murmured, stirring her potion. And when they come, they do not knock. Some of the women laughed softly. Nana Abeni had always been that way, seeing things others could not. But I saw the way Mama Efua's hands tightened around her basket. She did not take such words lightly. That night, before we slept, we checked the crowd carefully. Naki, being the youngest, counted the cattle one by one. 33, she announced proudly. We all went to bed, believing all was well. But at dawn, a scream pierced the morning air. It was my mother. I ran outside, my heart pounding. She stood before the crowd, her wrapper slipping from her shoulders, her breath coming fast. The gate was open. The cattle were gone. The village erupted in cries of shock and anger. Women clutched their heads, mourning the loss as if we had lost our own children. Stolen cattle meant stolen futures. Without them, there would be no meat for the babies, no offerings for the gods, no dowries for the girls ready to marry. Mama Efua turned to us, her voice steady but filled with fury. We do not wait for the men to fix this. We will bring back what is ours. The women of Oloru armed themselves. We took our staffs, our hunting knives, our knowledge of the land. Even old Nana Abeni, with her frail hands, took a pouch of powdered pepper, something she swore could blind a man if thrown in his eyes. Naki wanted to come, but she was too young. Stay behind, I told her. Guard the village. And with that, we set out. The ground was still damp with morning dew, making it easier to track the thieves. The hoof prints led toward the river, then split into two directions. It was a clever trick. Mama Efua knelt and pressed her fingers to the earth. She closed her eyes, breathing deeply. Then she pointed south. They went this way. We followed her lead, moving swiftly through the forest, past the towering baobab tree, where the spirits of our ancestors were said to rest. Hours passed, sweat dripped from our brows, but we did not stop. By midday, we reached an abandoned clearing near the border of our land. That's when we heard them, voices, the low grunts of cattle, and the sharp clang of metal. The thieves were here, peering through the tall grass. We saw them. 5 women, strangers to our land, branding our cattle with their hot iron. Rage burned in my chest. These were not just animals. They were our inheritance, our survival. Mama Efua gave the signal. We sprang from the bushes like a storm. The first thief stumbled backward as Aunty Ama swung her staff, knocking her flat. Another tried to run, but Kokor, our best runner, caught her by the arm and twisted it behind her back. One of them reached for a knife, But before she could, Nana Abeni stepped forward and threw a handful of her powdered pepper into the air. The woman screamed, clutching her burning eyes. Within moments, it was over. The thieves were tied and stripped of their weapons. Our cattle stood unharmed, their bells jingling softly. As we marched back into Oloru, victorious, the villagers ran to meet us, singing songs of praise. The thieves were presented before the elders, our women, who would decide their fate. That night, as we sat around the fire, I thought of Nana Abeni's words. Dark clouds move unseen. Perhaps she had known all along. From that day, we built a stronger kraal, and every girl in Oloru was trained to guard our herds, because no one, man or woman, would ever take from us again. The aftermath, the captured thieves were not from a distant land, as we had first assumed. When the elders questioned them, it was revealed that they were from a neighboring village called Kojo Krom. Their village, too, was suffering, their land growing barren, their own cattle dwindling. They had stolen from us out of desperation. The village council met under the great Iroko tree. The decision was not easy. Some wanted revenge, others argued for mercy. Mama Efua stood before the council, her voice clear and strong. If we punish them with death, what do we gain? Their village will send more thieves. The cycle will not end. And if we let them go, one of the elder women asked, they must return what they have taken, Mama Efua said, and they must work for what they need. No more stealing. A solution was reached. The women of Kojo Krom were made to labor in Oloru for 6 moons. They worked the fields, wove baskets, and tended the livestock they had tried to steal. Over time, they learned our ways, our songs, our strength. By the end of their time in Oloru, something changed. They were no longer enemies, they were sisters. When they left, we gave them seeds and young cattle, not as a gift, but as a pact. They would plant, they would raise, and they would never steal again. The legacy of the women of Oloru years passed. Naki grew older, strong and fearless like Mama Efua. The legend of the women who took back their cattle became a story told at every fire, passed from mother to daughter. We were no longer just the caretakers of a village. We were its defenders. And to this day, no one dares take from Oloru, because they know the women of Oloru will always fight for what is theirs.